right. Okay. Not a whole lot of big news going on in F1, but we are going to go over some of the recent news in our little break here until the last triple header of the year. Um, let's get started with the F1 drivers. F1 drivers shit. Let's get started with the F1 drivers association calling out the FIA president Mohammed Allahu Akbar. I think that's his name at least. I'm not really sure, but anyway. So the Grand Prix Drivers Association is the name of the organization, and they just recently created an Instagram page where they then posted they pretty much just made an Instagram page to publicly post this message to the FIA president. We're not going to read everything, but we'll read the main couple of paragraphs in here. With regards to swearing, there is difference between swearing intended to insult others and more casual swearing, such as you might use to describe bad weather or indeed an inanimate object such as a Formula One car or a driving situation. So obviously they are talking about Max Verstappen and him saying that the car was fucked and then getting a 10,000 euro fine for it. So we urge the FIA president to also consider his own tone and language when talking to our members' drivers or indeed about them, whether in public forum or otherwise. Further, our members are adults. They do not need to be given instructions via the media about matters as trivial as wearing of jewelry and underpants, obviously relating to Lewis Hamilton with the jewelry last year around the Miami Grand Prix, and the underpants was something where he wanted them to wear longer fireproof underwear or something like that. Just he's a little bit weird, you know what I mean? Like maybe leave the underpants details to the drivers, dude. Weird as fuck to even have a take on that. But anyway, the GPDA, which is essentially the drivers' union for F1, has on countless occasions expressed the view that direct driver monetary fines are not appropriate for our sport. For the past 3 years, we have called upon the FIA president to share the details and strategy regarding how the FIA's financial funds are allocated and where the funds are spent. So pretty much, why are you taking the money and where's it going? Because it's probably just going into his fucking greedy little pocket. We have also relayed our concerns about the negative image financial fines bring to the sport. I mean, I guess, dude, but anybody that knows anything about the sport knows these guys make like tens of millions of dollars. So, I mean, a 10,000 euro fine for Max is literally nothing, but that's not the point. It's the principle about it. We have also relayed our concerns about the negative. Oh, I read that. We once again request the FIA. Can you close the door? Hey. Jesus Christ. All right. Where were we? Once again, request that the FIA president provides financial transparency and direct open dialogue with us, which he won't. All stakeholders, FIA, F1, the teams, GPDA, should jointly determine how and where the money is spent for the benefit of the sport. So they're pretty much saying if you're going to keep fining people, we're going to put it towards the sport and not into your pocket. And that in turn is pretty much telling them stop fining people because we know you're just doing it so you can get money and make a statement about stuff. You know what I mean? Mohammed bin Al Akbar made the whole statement about that F1 drivers aren't rappers. Like, and then Lewis Hamilton obviously had an issue with that. You know, he said there's racial undertones to that, which kind of are. I mean, that's not too far fetched to say that, but yeah, you know, the FIA loves to just swing their dick around whenever they can. That's all this is, and obviously they don't like Max. He is very open and he doesn't lick boot like some of these other guys do. Like Lando will play nice at the press conferences and answer the questions with a nice long answer that nobody really gives a fuck, to be honest. But it's more entertaining when Max does this shit anyway, bro. Honestly, it's like in other sports. They ask him the same questions over time, and it's just the same like, oh yeah, we're just doing the best we can as a team to get the best result. Like, dude, nobody needs to hear that, bro. It's better that we have the controversy and the back and forth and whatnot. So that is the story with the Grand Prix Drivers Association. They just made this Instagram account. This was their first post. They already have 320,000 followers, most of which include a lot of the F1 drivers. I'm not logged in, but I had already saw that Verstappen, Russell, a lot of these guys, I saw their names that were already following them. And this was 15 hours ago. So I thought it was longer ago than that, certainly. No, maybe they reposted it. I could have swore they put this up a couple days ago. But anyway, that's the statement from the Grand Prix Drivers Association, which, if you haven't heard, is essentially the F1 Drivers Union. Didn't know that existed, but I guess that makes sense. I guess pretty much every major sports team has a union. A sports league has a union at this point, so at least in North America. But anyway, that is their statement. Hopefully something's done. I mean, Muhammad just wants to do whatever the fuck he wants and not have anybody say anything to him about it. But I think they made this account to remind them that there is a drivers' union and they can fight back against it. And it's kind of crazy that it took this long for them to have any kind of social presence because obviously people are going to respond to this and it's going to get a lot of attention like it has. So it's just kind of confusing why they waited this long for it to get to this point to start this. But I guess better late than never. And hopefully, he chills the fuck out because do we really need like speech censorship in F1? Like it's not like they're saying horrible shit. He said the car's fucked. Like just shut up. Get your fucking panties out of your fucking twat, dude. Jesus. Does this say anything else here on behalf of the direct? Nah, it just pretty much says everything we just read. But that was the main story of this week. The main topic of news was them the Grand Prix Drivers Association creating that public presence, finally having some social media, and then putting that statement out clearly about Leclerc getting the €5,000 fine, which actually I think it was 10 for him, but half of it is suspended or whatever for saying the same thing. He said "fuck." I mean, I just don't get what the big deal is. He's like, "Oh, the kids are watching." Like, is there any kid in America that's not going to hear "fuck" one way or the other? Honestly, like, just get over it, dude. My God. Some people in their ideologies, they just want it to be 100% in black and white and not have any room for any gray area. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, you can't do that. Yeah, whatever, dude. If Lando says "fuck," we'll see what happens. I guess, right? I don't think he'll be stupid enough to throw himself in the mix now too, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's start from the top here. Ferrari got a new sponsorship with IBM, which is like technology and software and like dumb shit like that. But I guess that's cool. I mean, it's just whoever gives them the most money. I mean, who really gives a fuck? IBM. They just got HP, so they're pretty much building a fucking Office Depot here. Anyway, Ferrari issue clear spot now. Well, yeah, the tire trick issue, if you guys haven't heard about this, the tire trick issue was essentially Red Bull had accused a couple of teams of putting water, actually injecting it into the tires, which kept it cooler throughout the race. Um, every team is trying to remove humidity from everywhere. Yeah, I mean, AKA they were all probably doing it. Um, I mean, that seems like a good trick if they could get away with it, but I don't know if they got away with it really. Let's see. Johnny Herbert takes new swipe at Max. Oh God, who gives a fuck about this dude? FIA stewards Johnny Herbert has claimed Max Verstappen doesn't help himself sometimes after the Red Bull driver's criticism perceived British F1 bias. As it, like this is just so stupid, dude. Honestly, obviously they don't like him. Look at this dude. Who does this remind me of? He looks like some actor, but that's bad to look at. We're gonna stop looking at that. Yeah, dude. It's no secret that these guys have bias. It is what it is. There's bias in a lot of things. It's just like any league, like the NFL, for example, wants to push like Patrick Mahomes, and they just glaze him all day because they want to replace Tom Brady. But it's like this in any sport. There's people that the media like and don't like, and obviously Max Verstappen goes against the stewards a lot, and they goes against the FIA a lot. So it's no wonder, it's no surprise that they have these issues with him. But ooh, little opinion piece here. Daniel Ricciardo decline theory shifts to Lewis Hamilton after W15 struggles. If you ask his fans, though, it's because they're sabotaging the car. Um, I don't know. It seems most likely that they're just going in a different direction, maybe, than he would prefer in terms of the upgrades and kind of making that more to Russell's likings. That's about all the cope you can have, though, to be honest, because they are probably in the same car, regardless if it's more geared towards Russell or not. Better driver that wasn't washed could adapt, right? So I guess we're gonna see next year, dude. He's gonna be in the Ferrari next to Leclerc. They're gonna obviously give him equal or better, a car. So I guess we're gonna find out. I think that Ferrari's gonna be very disappointed with their decision. I think Sainz is just really hitting his stride now, man. I mean, they are in the title fight now. He's really hitting his stride this year, and now they're getting rid of him and switching up for Lewis Hamilton, who has also had a decent year in his own right. But I mean, they're going to complain about the car, but the dude has a couple wins this year, and it hasn't been bad. I mean, they've been in the top four every single race this year, essentially, at least in their performance capability. And I don't know if you can blame it on the car now, dude. I just don't. Like there was weekends in the middle of the season where they were going back and forth. Russell and Hamilton do better. I mean, Spa, Russell won on the one stop, but Hamilton was had a better race and ended up winning because of Russell's DQ. Um, so I just to say any it's like anytime that like he beats him, it's like oh he beats him in equal machinery or worse, and it's worse machine. But anytime he does bad, it's like oh it's because the car's so bad. Like come on, dude. Like we can't just cope that bad and just anytime he fucking goes out in Q1 just say, "Oh, well, it's because they're sabotaging him." Like that's just pretty pathetic from the fans, and you do see that quite a bit. Anytime he doesn't do well, it's like, "Oh, they're sabotaging him." Whatever, dude. I just think he's past his prime, past the peak of his career, and probably on a bit of a downslide now. And now he's going to go to Ferrari, all this money, all this expectation, and probably going to do worse next year than they did this year. Early predictions for next year, I think Ferrari's going to do worse than they did this year. It's obviously going to get. We're going to see how everybody does in their development, obviously, but um, I think McLaren's going to be strong coming into next year. I think Aston Martin's probably going to have a good car next year and could probably compete with Ferrari and Mercedes. I mean, Newey's going to be there, so I imagine they're going to have a great car. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on them, and with Hamilton coming in, there's going to be a lot of expectations, and I just don't think they're going to live up to the hype at all. So I guess we're going to find out. More rumors. Carlos Sainz back to Red Bull. Christian Horner answers wild F1 paddock rumor. So Christian Horner has confirmed he is not making a late move for Carlos Sainz to join Red Bull next season, amid ongoing reports over the future of Sergio Perez. So obviously he has to say that. Like no shit, he can't say like, oh yeah, we're talking to Carlos Sainz. Like no, obviously he's not going to say that. Just like he's not going to admit that they're talking to Williams about Franco Colapinto or Carlos Sainz. That's the other thing too. They had the clip of Horner going into the Williams paddock after practice in Brazil, but everybody assumed it was for Franco Colapinto. Why would anybody assume that it was for Carlos Sainz? I mean, Carlos Sainz is already under contract for next year, as far as I'm concerned with them. So as far as I know, um, who's to say it wasn't for him? So there's definitely an opportunity there. I mean, it'd be nice if he did. Sainz is probably the only, other than like Leclerc, probably the only other like counterpart that would be able to hang with Max. I don't think Lando would. I mean, Lando would probably be pretty close, but certainly closer than Perez. But that's not really saying much, is it? I mean, fucking Mazepin could probably be closer than Perez, but um, yeah, Sainz has signed an extended multi-year deal to join Williams. He said that he wants that job security. He doesn't want to be dealing next season with the same thing he is this year, most of the season where he has to deal with where he's going next year. And I totally understand that, but that's also going to sacrifice potential race wins. I mean, are you expecting to win races in Williams? I mean, we saw Alpine double podium, but it's once a season. Maybe you have one shot a season in the perfect conditions and the perfect circumstances to win a race instead of being a contender every single race in the Ferrari. I mean, he'd certainly be a contender in the Red Bull. I mean, unfortunately for them, it doesn't seem like their development's going in the right direction at this point, and it's hard to say that that's going to just randomly turn around and go the opposite way for them, and they're going to start doing better again, especially now with Newey gone and most of their executive staff gone. It definitely doesn't look good for him going into next season, given how this season's gone. But it seems like at least with the last upgrade, I mean, it was in the rain. Max was pretty good out of the rain in the dry sessions, but it seemed like in the rain at least they had a good car. I don't know. I don't know if it's even worth it for Sainz, dude. I think maybe it is worth it for him more to just stick at Williams, have a stable place where you know you're actually wanted and you're not just going to get booted out for somebody else coming through. Which I mean, maybe he even would for like Colapinto. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? But it's all rumors. It's all rumors. I really doubt that he will end up going to Red Bull, but it'd probably be better for him in the long run. I mean, definitely more chances to win races. I don't need to hear somebody shit on Landa. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he blows. And then we got Williams to set hefty price tag for Cole Pinto to sign with Red Bull. Yeah, I would imagine Williams will not settle for less than 20 million euros for Franco Colapinto, a mid-interest from Red Bull for the F125 season. It has been claimed. Yeah, I mean, as far as I heard, he had to pay quite a bit to get the seat in the first place. He's obviously performed to a decent enough level, and when him and Perez have been head to head, he looked better, honestly. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did end up at Red Bull. But then it's like, are we skipping Lawson for Colapinto? Like, I guess you could say Williams and RB are somewhat similar in terms of their machinery. I think Williams probably have an edge on them, at least recently too. But Colapinto, I think, has looked better at times. Lawson, we've only seen him for a couple races at this point. It's really hard to say, but like, are we just gonna skip the entire Red Bull like driving academy, all those guys, Sonoda, fucking Lawson, and just put Colapinto there instead? I just don't know that that's a great idea. I don't know if that sets a good precedent either, but they have to do at this point whatever gives them the best chance next season because they're already going to be fighting from behind. It doesn't seem like they're going to be ahead in the development because they've had to stop development for next year to take care of this year so they don't completely lose everything. So next year is not looking good for Red Bull. Colapinto might be jumping onto a fucking sinking ship. They've literally lost like all of their executive staff that's been there for 20, 30 years in some cases. So it's definitely not looking good for them. And I get that it's kind of a coveted seat, especially because Verstappen's there and he's going to be the four-time champion now, and they've won quite a bit as a constructor. But yeah, kind of hopping on the sinking ship. Kind of a bad time to be going to Red Bull. That's all I'll say. But I mean, again, 20 million is like what, dude? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe that's more significant because it comes out of like their operating budget or something. But if it doesn't, then I'm sure some rich dude has 20 million fucking shoved up his ass somewhere to give to Franco Colapinto. So get some fucking Argentinian to do it, bro. They want to see him so bad. Fucking get somebody else to pay for it. You know what I mean? Build the wall, make him pay for it. You know. Mercedes investigate Lewis Hamilton setup with Maine. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's probably just the setup, bro. If he wants to set up the car a certain way, and it's the exact same machinery as George Russell, who the fuck's fault is that you set that you wanted a wrong way essentially? Like why? Whatever. Damning his W15 as the worst it has ever been, Andrew Shovlin says Mercedes are trying to understand why Lewis Hamilton struggled with rear end grip in Brazil. I mean, Russell wasn't struggling. Certainly, he probably would have won. I mean, if Lando pitted and Russell didn't pit, he probably would have ended up winning the race. Because it seemed like whoever was behind, whoever was in first there with the open air in the rain just seemed like was at a much better pace. Even when Ocon was in first, he was cruising away from Max just because he had that clear air out front. So certainly if Lando pitted and Russell didn't, he would have won that race. But anyway, yeah, Hamilton was P11 in both sprint qualifying and the sprint. And then what did he end up placing in the race? 10th place. Yeah, he got 1 point. So pretty shit and probably just washed. But anyway, we'll keep moving on. Oh, this is good news. So South Africa declared ready to host F1 racing again after Kailami demo run. I think I do have a video of this. Let's fucking see the video real quick. It's pretty cool actually. So Red Bull did a demo run in Kailami. Let's see real quick. That's gonna be an ad, isn't it? No ad. I'm not gonna play the audio here. It's playing out of my fucking computer anyway. Hold on. Hold on. I'll put the audio on. Fuck it. Be fine. Yeah, so they fly this shit over the city.
I've been waiting a long, long time to get a modern car on this track. Good to be back. Remember, we're not supposed
David Coulthard living the dream, just going everywhere, driving these fucking cars on these circuits, doing whatever, dude.
to be here to keep it quick.
Crazy.
Yeah. Focus when I gear.
Yeah, so it seems like Red Bull kind of unofficially announced that Formula One's coming back to South Africa. I think it was rumored that it was going to be looked at for the 2027 calendar because obviously 2026 is already all set. but they could be a contender for 2027. I know they had to pass certain regulations, upgrade the track, upgrade this and that, but it seems like they've done that. The circuit has been resurfaced and reconfigured over time, and while it currently holds FIA Grade 2 certification, which is not going to be good enough for F1, obviously, multiple reports in South Africa claim the circuit is looking to start work on moving up to Grade 1 status, the highest accreditation. Partnering with the Apex Circuit Design lead technical consultants of the Miami Grand Prix. So they're going to them to help build this circuit. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, I guess Miami. I don't really hear much complaints about it being bumpy or this and that. So maybe it is decent. But uh, yeah. The last time it was there was 1993, and I guess the next closest time it could be is 2027. But I guess we'll see. Oh, what did I say? Am I saying 2027, bro? 2026? 5, 6? I don't know. 6 maybe? 27. I think I originally heard 2027, but I guess it could be as early as 2026 technically, but I guess we'll see. Let's see what else we got. Lance Stroll, yeah. We don't need to hear anything about fucking Lance Stroll. Oh, this is another one, yeah. Sauber finished up their driver lineup for next year, and they signed Gabriel Bortoleto, who I believe is in the lead of the F2 championship right now. Let's see if it says it here. He's signing a multi-year contract. That's nice. And he's leaving the McLaren Driver Academy. So, don't know if that's a great move because honestly, Oscar Piastri might be on the move soon. I'm not gonna lie. He might just want to hold out there, but he's going to be joining a bunch of rookies next season. We're going to have Kimi Antonelli, Ollie Behrman, and Jack Doohan, as well as Gabriel Bortoleto now as rookies on the grid next season. So that'll be pretty exciting. We get rid of Guan Yu Zhou. Unfortunately, Valerie Bottas, who is, I don't know if it's on here, he's also going to, I don't know if it's, that says 19 hours ago. Mercedes drop. Yeah. Apparently, Valtteri is going to be the reserve driver for Mercedes next year. So that'll be nice. Guan Yu Zhou's off the grid, so we'll have to find a new back marker for next season. And somehow Lance Stroll still sucks daddy's teat enough to stay on the grid. So that sucks. But maybe 2026 he'll be fucking axed too, because Newey's going to be like, what the fuck are we doing with this car, man? We can't be wasting this on some fucking absolute sped. What else we got here? Has the Verstappen and Norris friendship survived the F1 title fight? I know Norris said last weekend that they hadn't talked in a while, but I assume now that it's practically over, they're probably going to be a little more friendly. Talking about flips, Mick Schumacher. Heard about Mick Schumacher. Who gives a fuck, honestly? Tire pressure infringement. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jos Verstappen makes Red Bull teammate wish. Oh God, who's he wishing for? Liam Lawson. I think that's probably the best idea, honestly. I don't know if putting Cole Pinto in there is gonna be a good idea, but we'll see. I'll be back with more F1 content this week. It's pretty quiet, but we got a couple of weeks, so I'll find something.